रसूल करीम अम्मा बाद रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी वयस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली वजअलनी वज़ीरम मिन अहली आमीन या रब्बल आलमीन सुब्हानक ला इल्मा लना इल्ला मा अल्लमतना इन्नका अंतल अलीमुल हकीम. Welcome to this class. I greet you all with Islamic greetings of Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we will start the translation and a little commentary on Quran. But before that, we'll just go through a little introduction of Quran. It might be something, you might have some new things coming up which you may not have come across before. So please feel free to ask questions if you have. So very first thing, how I'd like to start is, we are all human beings, right? So, human being. So when I say human being, what has come to your mind? Just feel free to answer, please. So it'll be easier, so we'll have an interactive session. So when I say human being, what comes into your mind? You answer that?
A physical body made by Allah.
Sorry?
A physical body made by
A physical body. Okay, so let's write a body. Physical body and
soul.
Plus soul. I wrote plus because for us, this soul is part of us. This is what makes us who we are. Right? This is an important point to understand. So for the needs of this physical body, what do? We eat, good, and drink, good, and breathe, great. And I would like you to also participate whatever you have in your mind. Sleep, great. And dream comes under sleep, that's right. Anything else you have in your mind?
Okay, what about the way Allah has created us by male and female?
Okay, so gender. Right. That's a very good point. Gender. Great. Anything else you have?
But the way He created us.
The way He's created us.
Right.
So, do you have, if you want to say the word, maybe I'm missing something? The way we are created.
From the male part and the female part.
Fine. So let's take it as under gender. So it will be easier to understand later on. This is anything else. If there is anything else, it will be pertaining to this only. We may not have anything else out of this, it will be pertaining to this. We sleep, we eat, we see, we breathe, and we drink and all those things. That is for the physical body. And how do we get all these things? From where do we get all these things? We get all these things from, as they say, Mother Earth, right? Nature, material world, right? We can, or anything else. Whatever we need to eat, the earth provides us. Like whatever grains, green, meat, whatever we want to eat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made a mechanism, the earth will provide us. Drink, of course. It comes, the rain comes and then the rain gets stored somewhere in the earth or on top of the mountain then as ice, and then there's a whole mechanism how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided for us to drink. Breathe, oxygen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided oxygen to breathe. Sleep, when our body needs sleep, and there's an environment Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created day and night. Gender, again, when it comes as gender, we have some bodily needs as gender, male, female, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made us in pairs, Adam and Eve, husband and wife. So these all things for physical body are provided in this world, in this environment, in this universe, somehow or the other. How about the soul? What are the needs of the soul? No, what are the needs of the soul? Anything what comes to your mind?
Belonging.
What is it?
Belonging.
Belonging, okay. Maybe.
Spiritual nourishment.
Belonging, nourishment. Of course, because it's part of us, so it does need nourishment. Feelings, yes, that you can say. I would take it.
Pain.
Emotions, yeah, probably it comes under the same thing.
Pain.
Pain comes here actually because it's physical, and we do feel emotional pain as well. Anything else you can think of?
Mentally.
Mental would come over here. So these all things are provided by the nature. How do... Okay, and yeah, one more thing. When we die, what happens to our body?
Our body stays here, our soul goes back to Allah.
Right. So what happens to our body when we die?
Decomposes.
It decomposes. Great. So anything else you want to add? It becomes part of this earth. Somehow or the other. Either, you burn it, you bury it, or let's say somebody, gets eaten by the wild animals, whatever. It becomes part of this planet. And our soul, where does the soul goes?
Back to Allah.
Where it has come from, where the soul has come from. How it has come from Allah. You keep on saying it goes back to how it has come from Allah.
He breathed us
When?
when he made us.
When?
At the time of conception,
There we go. Thank you very much. You answered that. Which means that this body was being created in the womb of the mother as a physical process, but the soul was breathed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which was brought by an angel from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and was given to that body. So that's why when we die, our body goes back to where it has come from, and our soul goes back to where it belongs. So once we understand this part, that we have a body, we have a soul, requirements of the body, requirements of the soul, requirements of body are fulfilled by this planet Earth, requirements of the soul should be fulfilled by whom? Should be fulfilled by how? Okay, maybe you want to guess before I give out the answer?
she said, should be fulfilled.
Yeah, I mean, how would we nourish our soul?
It should be fulfilled by ourselves.
By ourselves, I would say by ourselves, by the
Yeah, by Quran.
revelation.
Quran, that's it.
Right, that's right. So our bodies, our soul requirements would be fulfilled by the revelation, and revelation by
Quran.
Quran. Revelation by Allah be called as Quran. So now once we understand this thing, now we know the importance of Quran, the importance of revelation for our soul and our body. Because we need to understand that if this thing is corrupted,
Everything is corrupted.
everything is corrupted. Jazakallah khair. And if this thing is nourished well,
Everything.
everything comes into its proper perspective.
You can be dead broke on your last penny, on your last leg, but you still feel
Exactly.
You know
You
what
still
I mean?
feel
You're
satisfied.
Not like, okay, I'm going to kill myself. No, that's not even.
Therefore, right. So this was the first point I wanted to clear, that why the revelation, the Quran, is important for us as a human being. Both parts are important. Let's not say that only this part is important or only this. If you go totally over there, then you're going to get weak on this side. And if you get weak on this side, you're going to get weak on the rights of the people you're living with. And same thing happens if you go all together on the other side.
You know what, brother?
Yes.
I'm a convert, so for me to have, it takes a lot of work to try to find your balance.
It's not easy, you're right.
Because being a convert coming into Islam or coming back to Islam,
Alhamdulillah.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a lot for a human, you know what I'm saying?
I understand.
And so you have to get or find that balance. You can't be too far over here or too far over here.
Exactly.
It has to be a balance.
It has to be a balance.
Right.
And probably you can understand it very well that when I say balance,
Yeah.
This book we call as Quran gives you the exact formulas of how to have the balance. Quran does not want you to just leave everything and go into the jungles or oceans and become whatever you want to become. And Quran does not want you to leave all these spiritual things and just be full-time dedicated towards your worldly needs. So this is the balance Quran is trying to create. We are clear up to here? Great. So now,
Can I give you another example?
sure.
Can I give you another, like I said, for me, there's not many Muslims in my family. So when I go, there's a law says you can't cut the ties of family. So when I go visit my family, I'm in a whole other world, right? But I still have to have that balance and maintain who I am.
Right.
So yeah.
So Alhamdulillah, when you get these feelings that you are trying your best to have the balance between two, Alhamdulillah, this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needs from us. Now coming to the next part. Who is a believer? When we say believe, who is a believer?
Who believes in faith?
Okay, let's come to, when we say believer, there are two things. One is faith and one is belief. How would we differentiate between a faith and a belief? What comes to your mind when I say faith, and what comes to your mind when I say belief?
Believe is a little more stronger than faith.
Right.
Because believe means that you understand something.
There we go. Thank you.
You
Understanding.
understand it. So now you can believe.
Right. And how about faith?
Experience.
Faith, faith is something more of like our children have on us. Because they don't
Trust.
Yeah, it's more of like trust and confidence that whatever my parents are saying is right. Because they cannot experience that. Whereas for us, it's belief on the system that if something goes wrong, the system will protect me. It's not a faith. We believe because we understand that if there's a problem, there's a protocol to follow, and God forbid something is wrong, I'll be taken to the hospital. Or if somebody has done something wrong to me, the law enforcement is going to take care of that. So we have a belief on the system will take care of us. And the child has a faith on his parents that the parents will take care of him. So this is a little difference between a faith and a belief. So now, coming to the next part, what does Islam requires from us? What does Islam requires from us?
Actually, it requires both, but the main requirement is the belief.
Exactly. In Islam, we have the combination of both, faith plus belief. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be a believer based on rational and emotional understanding. You have to understand the emotional understanding also. I cannot love my child if I'm not emotional. Rationally, I have no reason to love my child. I cannot be in a good relationship with my spouse if I'm rational. But if I want to raise a family, I have to be emotionally understand. I have to be emotionally, what is it? Involved with the people. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. So this is what, and again, a difference between like a faith. We don't know. We haven't seen the afterlife. What is going to happen in the grave? What is Alim al-Barzakh, Jannah, Jahannam? We have never seen. Only Prophet Muhammad has seen, and he told us that this is what's going to happen. So that's faith. We believe in him because he's a prophet and other reasons. But in general, Islam, what we do, what we follow, what we like, what Quran says, we should have a belief on that based on some kind of rational and logical understanding. This is how things would be easier for us. So now going to the next thing. When we are talking about all these things and we are saying that we need Quran for all these understandings. So if I ask you what is Quran, what would you say?
Quran is the book that's from Allah that was revealed to us. It is the as
So it
information,
is from Allah,
yes,
revealed
to our Prophet Muhammad.
on Prophet. Okay. Anything
It was
else?
the last information that will be coming to
Last
this earth.
revelation. Okay. Anything else? What makes it important for Muslims?
Way of life.
Way of life,
It's basically a guidebook.
guidebook, and but what makes it important? What makes Quran the most important book on this face of the earth?
The words never change.
Okay, it's preserved,
Information.
informative, but still, okay, I'll try to put it in this way, right? I'll try to put it in this way that this, for example, is given to me by my father, right? So what makes it important? What makes this thing important to me?
It was given to you by your father.
By my father. So with me, for me, the importance of these papers are that I create an attachment, a link, a kind of relation with my father, right?
And it's given to us by Allah.
By Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these are the most important thing about Quran. The Quran is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'll try to give you an example. If I'll have a chance to meet my beloved personality, whoever he or she is, compared to I saw that person on a photograph or on a movie or maybe on the TV. When I met the person just kind of like, well done. Compared to whatever he says on the TV about the people who are doing the same thing what I do. So those two words called as well done from the personality of mine whom I really admire are going to be the reward of my work, the reward of my life. Because I did my best for those two words. Same way, the greatness of Quran, the azma of Quran is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us His words to read, to ponder upon, to learn from it. If we do not understand this part, that Quran is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, these all things will be as good as any other book. We have a book which can make you a doctor. It's Doctor, Saving Lives. It's a guidebook. Okay, not last revelation, but it is revealed. It has got narration. It has reached us. You can relate anything to the book. But
It's
what?
a law book.
What is
You
it?
can say it's a law book.
Law book, whatever. But Quran, importance of the Quran is because it is word of Allah. It is guidance for the whole humanity. And it is the last and final, most comprehensive message revealed to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So this way you have to look at the Quran. Okay, word of Allah, this is Quran. What Quran is not? That's a little tricky question, right? So Quran is the word of Allah. What Quran is not?
It's not just an ordinary book.
Okay, in a way, it's not an Quran is not a book, ordinary.
It's not a normal book.
Okay, it's not a normal book. It's not a poetry. You need to understand. Though it has that divine music kind of thing, music may not be the right word, but this is the way I want to explain. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Ar-Rahman, Allamul Quran. And it continues.
It's not something that you play with.
It's not something you play with. that's right. So it's not a poetry. It's not a book of fortune telling. Right? So it's not a word of fortune teller. And last but not least, that this is not the word of shaitan, Rajim, the one who is cursed one. So we need to understand this part. So we will, because only knowing what Quran is and not knowing what Quran is not makes things a little confusing. So when we have established that the Quran is the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so how does Quran affects, no with A, how does Quran affects?
Gives you peace.
Okay, please.
Opens your heart.
Okay, opens heart,
Your mind.
mind,
Heart.
Your actions.
actions,
Gives you a sense of right and wrongs.
do's and don'ts. Still the effect has not come. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, Law anzalna hazal Quran ala jabalin. If I had revealed this Quran on the mountain, what would have happened? La ra'aytahu, you would have seen khashi'an mutasaddi'an min khashyatillah. That mountain has torn apart with the humbleness. So the effect of the Quran on a person would be something similar, that it's going to change the life of a person as a whole. In every part of your life, this book is going to play a role. Let it be your personal life, let it be your beliefs, your prayers, your rituals, let it be your social life, your connection with your parents, your rights upon your children, your social rights with the people you live in, your political institutions, that how you should live in the world, what kind of laws you should abide by. This is the effect this book will have on its believer, not reader, because reader and reading and believing are two different things. And if we look at, there's a story of Prophet Moses in Quran, when Prophet Moses asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I want to see you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that you can't, lan tarani. He said, but still I want to see you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, okay, fine. You look at this mountain, and I'm going to show a little bit of myself to this mountain. If this mountain can bear that, then you will be able to see me. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows himself a little to that mountain crushed. And what happened to Moses, peace be upon him? Prophet Moses, he went unconscious. And then later on, when he gained conscious, of course, he understood why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying that he cannot see you. Oh, sorry. Why he understood that why he couldn't see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But I have a question. When will we be able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No.
No, when we are raised.
What did you say?
When we are raised.
When we
Maybe.
arrive. Sorry?
Depending on, because Allah said He might not even want to see you, so if you don't want to see you, you're not going to see you. You know.
See, I would say, the mulaqat ko kya kahenge? The time we will see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala face to face.
The day of judgment.
Not really even on the day of judgment. In the day of judgment, we have to be in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but He's not going to show us, but He is going to ask us about everything we have done. But this will be, how to say, this is a kind of reward for the believers, that they are going to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Jannah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to come in front of them, and that is going to be a kind of a big, festival is not the word, that is going to be kind of a big thing for them, that they are seeing their Creator. And this is not for everyone. Not everyone will have the privilege to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We say subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most purest, the most highest. And over there, how it's going to happen? Probably we'll have different eyes, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to come, in a way that we can see Him. So this is how it is going to happen over there. Next thing, let me go to the next part. We are clear up to here? You have any questions, any points or something? Any questions? Please go ahead and feel free to ask. No? Okay, then let's continue. What is our belief about Quran? I said one thing already, that it is word of Allah. Quran, one belief is that it is word of Allah. Next thing, it is preserved. Quran is preserved. And anything else you want to add? Part of belief that it was revealed to Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Any person, anyone claims to be Muslim, if you doubt any one of these three conditions, is not a Muslim anymore. There are always, of course, there are so many subdivisions, but in general, the aqidah, the iman, the faith, the belief we have on Quran can be summarized into these three lines. Next question. Why should we learn Quran?
Because how are you going to be guided if you don't learn?
Great. For guidance and
For the do's and don'ts.
do's and don'ts. Okay, I'll summarize it. Very first thing, why should we learn Quran is because it's fard. It's compulsory. We have to, because we're a Muslim. Second thing, that's called fard al-ain. Like you have to learn this. Second thing is we have to learn Quran in a way that where we can solve problems of the people, of Muslims, through the solutions from Quran. Like that is fard kifaya, that some people of the community should put their time 24/7 in learning the Quran, the fiqh, the tahara and everything. So if there's a problem in the society, they can come out and help those people. What is the difference between fard al-ain and fard al-kifaya? Fard al-ain means that if you don't do it, you are answerable in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nobody else. And fard al-kifaya means that if some people will not also do it, first of all, if some people will do it, it will be kifaya, it will be enough from everybody. But even if they will not do it, then everybody is going to be answerable. Everybody will be in sin because of that. And other thing is, Prophet Muhammad has said, "Ballighu anni walau ayah." That convey from me, even if it's a single word of Quran. This is from Bukhari. And other hadith, which is very important, which we must understand. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Khayrukum man ta'allama al-Qur'ana wa 'allamahu." The best of you are those who learn Quran and teach it. The very important part over here is what we need to understand. When we say learn Quran and teach it, it does not only comes under the heading of tajweed and memorization. That is a very, very limited concept of ta'allam al-Quran wa 'allamahu. When we say ta'allum al-Quran, the ulum of the Quran, the sciences of the Quran, how Quran was preserved, what is Quran, what is the etymology of the words, how Quran speaks, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran. I mean, subhanAllah, if you go into the details, you can go on deep and deep and deep, and you can never discover everything. So people have committed their lives, but still at the end, they would say, I still haven't done enough. So that's why when we dedicate our life to the Quran, or part of our life to the Quran, or whatever dedication we have towards the Quran, you are going to get benefit in this world and inshallah in the hereafter. And that benefit is going to be on you, your family, your children, the people connected to you, your friends, your neighbors, and everyone, inshallah. So this is one of the important things. Second thing, the Quran we have, where it has come from. When we say revelation, it was revealed to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Revealed means that it was given. Given means, if something is given, means that this thing was somewhere else before here. So where is the actual Quran? Sorry, where is the actual Quran? Somebody said it. In Allah al-Mahfuz. Right? What is this? What is Lawh al-Mahfuz?
Like a big capsule.
See, lawh means, when we say lawh, that means something which is used as thing we write on. And mahfuz means which is preserved. So there's a huge lawh with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In everything is written over there. Even the Quran. So Quran, actual Quran is there on Lawh al-Mahfuz. And only the selected angels have the clearance to go there. It's not open to all the angels. Second thing, maybe you should know that this Quran is not allowed to be recited by all angels. Not every angel have the permission to read the Quran. That is why there is a hadith of Prophet Muhammad that when somebody reads Quran, the angels comes and they circle him. And they come so close that when the person is saying the Quran, they put their mouth on top of his mouth and in front of his mouth, so that the words of Quran should go to him. So this Quran is so beautiful and this Quran is so beloved. So anyhow, what we have is the actual and exact copy of the Quran which is on Lawh al-Mahfuz. And when we say it is in Lawh al-Mahfuz, so how it came to this world? That's another question, right? If the copy is there and it was revealed to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, so how did it happen?
Allah sent angels.
Fine, but before coming to that, now see, first the Quran came from the tablet, which is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the first heaven. When we read Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Inna anzalnahu fi laylatil qadr, that we have revealed this Quran to on Laylatul Qadr. Whereas when it was given to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was given to him according to when it was needed by him. It was not given to him at once. It was revealed to him as it was needed. Let's try to understand this by an example. You know, when the rain falls, what if it rains for 1 month? What's going to happen? Flood, destroy. It's going to make more of destruction probably than benefits, or probably than having any positive effect. Same way, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have revealed the whole Quran, so what happened to that mountain which torn apart? Probably something like that would have happened to human beings, that they would not have been able to take it all at once. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Quran to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam part by part as it was needed. There are, of course, we can go into discussion that why this is important and why that is important, why not this and why not that. But let's put it in this way, that it was revealed as parts when it was required, so that whenever Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was in a situation where people would ask him question, he will give the answer then and there, and those people think, oh yes, he didn't have it before, which means it has just come to him. Now, how this Quran was revealed? There are 3 ways how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed this Quran. to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One, we all know that the Quran used to come to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam through Jibreel alayhi salam, through angel Gabriel. So angel Gabriel used to come and used to present him and told him that this is the wahi which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you, and then he used to learn it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made him learn that. Second, without Prophet Jibreel alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put the Quran in the heart or in the mind of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then what will happen? There are few ways how it has been defined in some of the hadiths, that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will hear the kind of rings in his ears. He would think that something is ringing, and then the wahi would be revealed to him. So all of the Quran has been revealed in these two ways, except the last two ayahs of Surah Al-Baqarah. Aman al-Rasul bima unzila ilayhi min rabbihim. Where did that happen? Any guesses? It happened on the seventh heaven when Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was taken to the Miraj, Sidratul Muntaha, and then he had the opportunity to speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And over there, our salah, which used to be 50, and then was reduced to 5, and these two ayahs were given to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So all of the Quran except these two ayahs is given either by the Prophet Gabriel or directly to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So these two ayahs were gift. So we should try our best to learn those two ayahs, and because there is a lot of reward which has been mentioned. And okay, we have already discussed, that the Quran was inzal and tanzil. There are two words which we use. Inna anzalnahu fi laylatul qadr wa shahru ramadan allazi unzila fihi al-Quran. So Laylatul Qadr is in Ramadan, and that was the Laylatul Qadr when Quran came from seventh heaven to first. Wisdom is also done. That is also done. Okay, what is the time and place of revelation of Quran? Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the period of 22 years, according to the lunar calendar. There are two calendars, right? One is according to the sun, one is according to the moon. The one which is according to the moon is called as lunar calendar. So the total time is about 22 years according to the lunar calendar, which was done. And what was the place of revelation, where the revelations came? There are not only these two places, but let's put it in this way, it came in the area of Hijaz. That is called the area of Hijaz. If we go to the, if we go to the history, when we say the area of Hijaz, it is of course the existing Saudi. Then you have, probably the Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, Yemen, Emirat, and maybe all those, links. So that is the place which is called as Hijaz. So all of the Quran is revealed in that area. Some people try to bring some narrations where they try to prove that Quran was revealed somewhere else as well. But no authentic narrations have been found for this, for this point, that Quran is revealed somewhere else. Except two ayahs. Right. Okay, preservation of Quran. As we have all discussed, that it is the Aqidah, it is a belief of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that whole of the Quran which was given to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is preserved in its existing state as it was at his time. It was given in different times. The ayahs were of different surahs. But then Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to tell the Sahabas, okay, this ayah comes before that and this ayah comes after that and everything. And apart from that, in Surah Hijr, ayah number 9, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra wa inna lahu lahafidhun. That it is us who has revealed the Quran, and it is us who are going to be the guardians, who are going to protect it. And in one of the other ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that no evil can touch the Quran, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, La ya'tihi al-batilu min bayni yadayhi wa ma min khalfihi. La batil, no falsehood can approach this Quran. Baina yadayhi, from the forward, wa min khalfi, or from back, or from anywhere. Tanzilum min hakimin hamid. It is a revelation from Lord who is wise and praiseworthy. So see over here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used the word tanzil, not inzal. Okay, coming to the next point, but you can have a break, maybe? No? So let's continue. Language of the Quran. What is the language of the Quran?
Arabic.
We all know that it's Arabic.
Yes.
What kind of Arabic? If you start from Middle East and you go up to Morocco, that is other side of Africa, they're all Arab countries, right? Like Africa, Africa I'm saying, Morocco, and then Algeria, and then Libya, and then Egypt, and then probably Kuwait, Saudi, and then, So if you see this Arabic, it keeps on changing, right? Like probably a person from Middle East, when he goes to Morocco, he may not be able to understand everything. So which means that Quran was revealed in Arabic, but then which Arabic? It was classical Arabic. So how do you define classical Arabic? Before we go to that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Zukhruf, Inna ja'alnahu Qur'anan Arabiyyan. Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that? Indeed, we have made this Quran in Arabic. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ, from aql, so you might understand what is it. And same message is in different surah, Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyyan la'allakum ta'qilun, bilisanin Arabiyyin mubin, and in another one, Qur'anan Arabiyyan ghayra dhi awajin la'allahum yattaqun. It do not have any deviance. So it is, so they might become righteous. So when we say the Quran is revealed in Arabic, we need to understand that every language always have dialects. English, for example. How do you pronounce this? O-F-T-E-N.
Often.
Often.
See, and I was thinking like that's going to be the difference because with the Arabic that the Quran is in, you can't play with those words.
Right.
What I'm saying? You can play with
Right.
these words can be played with, changed, or, but these words you cannot do that with.
Right. I will come to that, why I asked you this. So this is often. How do you say this? I never learned it as often. Yeah.
Often.
But I have come from a British school system where it is called as often. You say often and people would look at you like you are looking at me when I'm saying often. Okay, what is this?
Schedule. Now that's a hard one.
Right.
Because you can say schedule.
Yeah, where I come from, if you say schedule, you will be getting 0. Because we say schedule. Right? Because this is what we have been taught. So these are called dialects. Right? Like, I think that's enough. We can go into again, even in USA, the way we from Asia have come from India, Pakistan, speaks English is very different from the way Arabs speak the English, the way African Americans speak the English, the way white people speak the English, the way white people in England speak the English. In England, the way Scottish people speaks the English. So there are a lot of dialects. When it comes to these things, there are a lot of dialects. So for Quran, we need to understand that the Quran was revealed in the dialect of, you wanna guess? Maybe? Of the Bedouins.
Oh, right.
Right? So this is very important to understand that it was not revealed in the dialects of the people who used to live in Mecca. Because Mecca was a commercial place. People used to come from all over the world. Sometimes for trading, festivals, prayers, Hajj. So it was not revealed in that. It was revealed in the dialect of the Arabic, of the Bedouins. Who are the Bedouins? You want to guess? Maybe you want to say something about it? No? Bedouins are, as we say in Urdu, Khana Badosh. Bedouins were the people who used to live in, I remember, I'm born and brought up in Qatar. So we have a family over there which is called as Bidawi. So Bedouins were the people, in fact are still the people who live in desert. They are the old inhabitants of the deserts of Arabia. And they're the people who are called nomads. Probably this is what they say in English, nomads. Yeah, who go places to places. So their language is very strong because they don't get mixed up with people. I mean, this is how they live. And even at the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we all know that the Quraysh and all those people, they used to send their children to Bedouins for breastfeeding and for language. Because they used to believe that, in that environment, they are going to become more stronger and they are more closer to nature and their language will be more pure. So this is one of the things that I wanted to mention, that the dialect of the Quran is those Bedouin, from that Bedouin language. However, Quran do contain some words which are not from classical Arabic. Like for example, Ismail or Ibrahim or Isa. These names are non-Arab names, they're Hebrew names. And there are some other words as well. If somebody really wants to do some research on the language of the Quran, wants to go more deep, they should read the poetry of pre-Islamic era. Because that poetry of pre-Islamic era have got some really, some heavy kind of words which you can relate and you can understand the etymology of the words of Quran. It is one of the beautiful subjects. I don't know if many people have worked on that, but there are quite a few people who have worked, from India and Pakistan on that. Okay, now the names and attributes of the Quran. We know that the word we use for Quran is exclusive Al-Quran. That is the most widely word which is used for Quran. However, this is not the only name Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used in Quran for Quran. You want to guess any other names? It's called as Al-Kitab, Huda, Al-Hudam wa Noor, Zikr, Al-Furqan, Majid. So there are quite a few other names for this as well, famous names. I just wanted to share this for the basis, for the reason of information. Next thing, the word Quran itself. How is this word has come to, this word Al-Quran, from where it has come? Of course, there are two opinions. One is that this word Al-Quran or Quran is by itself, Quran. One is that it has come from the root word Qaf, Ra, Hamza, Qara'a. Qara'a means to read, and from there it has become Quran. And there is another opinion which says Qarnan Shay'an wa Shay'an, that when lots of things are gathered, accumulated, and they are read again and again, they are called as Quran. Again, just for the information purposes. Now, coming to the next part, this would be, we'll take it as last. What is the style of speech of Quran? We already know that Quran is not a poetry. Quran is not a poetry. So, the style of Quran cannot be poetry. Right? So, any guesses? What is the style of the speech of Quran? You want to say something about it? If it's not poetry, what it is? When you read Quran, what do you feel?
Rhythmic.
Rhythmic. Okay, that's a nice word. It's rhythmic. As I said, divine music kind of thing. Anything else?
We can feel the Quran.
You can feel it affects you, that's right. So any kind of speech which affects you. Any name? You want to come up with a name for that or something? It's not an ordinary book as well. We call it book because it is between two covers. So we call it book, but of course it's not an ordinary book. If we see, normally, when the book has been written, when somebody writes a book, What does a person do? Please tell me. Let's say if you have to write a book, you have to write a book about yourself. So what would you do? The very first thing, what would you do?
Titus.
Title. Good. Next.
Thesis. Mission.
Preface. Mission. Right. Next thing. You're going to make the chapters. Childhood. Struggles.
Outline.
Eh,
Like an outline.
Right, you're going to do that, right? So what is going to happen in your book is that everything is going to be connected to each other somehow or the other. You cannot write a book without that, right? Now let's come to the next part. Now you are trying to tell your children, okay, that this life is very difficult, so you should grow up. Now, when you're going to talk to your child like that, what are you going to do? Now, it's not going to be like a chapter or a book. How are you going to speak to your child now?
Parables or metaphors.
Right.
Stories. To give examples.
Verses.
Examples.
Repeated verses.
Repetition would be there. Anything else? You are getting there before I
Also
tell
with the prayer.
you. Sorry?
You gotta add repeated verses.
It would be a conversation, not a lesson.
Conversation. Anything else? I still cannot get that point.
No, I said, I was speaking about the Quran, the oft repeated verses.
Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala repeats the verses. So maybe when you're also talking to your child, so you will also repeat quite a few things. One very important element I want you to say. You haven't said it yet.
Parables. Storytelling.
Storytelling can happen, right? But let's say if the child is 22, 23, then stories may not. But yes, it will happen that when I was your age,
You're gonna
so
speak
there comes the story. You're right.
You're gonna speak to them in a very even tone.
Right. Tone matters.
Very
Speak to
even
them the
tone.
way they will understand things.
Right. So you're gonna, yes, that's good. That's good. I'm looking for that word. You are almost there. Maybe that word is still. You're gonna make sure you connect to them. Right?
Right.
That emotional connection has to be there. Otherwise, I mean, your whole conversation is either going this way or this way or this way. Because there'll be a whole big, shield in front of them. So that way, if you look at the Quran, it's not an ordinary book. We already said that. It's not a poetry because Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was not a poet. It's not compiled in a way that it has got, all the connections, preface, chapter 1, chapter 2, and all those things. So if we look at Quran, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to us, His creation. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to us, it's a kind of oration, divine oration. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to us logically sometimes. Why don't you look at these stars? Look at the universe. Look at the earth. The earth dies. It again comes alive. You eat fruits. It's the same earth. One seed and then it becomes a tree and then you get different fruits. It's the same water which is, doing the same job for everything, but everything is different. So what is this? Like this is the emotional, this is the logical and the rational connection Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is trying to make. Second thing, you again look at the Quran. What Quran says? Quran says, why don't you, do the tadabbur on Quran? Why don't you think about it that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent you in this world, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you this Quran, you born, you see a lot of people dying, going back into the grave. Why don't you think that what's going to happen to you? Now this is more of a emotional shape. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses us basically in a very intellectual way. Intellectual reasoning, intellectual logic, and intellectual emotions. And if we look Quran in this way, we can say that Quran is collection of divine orations. And as I've said, when I say divine orations, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tried to reach us in all the possible ways, which is going to wake us up from that deep sleep or from that deep
From the coma.
from the it's a good word, or or from the deep disconnection from our spiritual side. And especially in this country where we're living, we're all connected to this world. Very strong bond, very strong connection. People would do two jobs because life is not easy here. Life is very difficult. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, brings from there, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, is it you who's feeding yourself, or is it Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who feeds you? If I look at myself, if I'm standing here today and I'm talking about this, is it me really? No, it's here, which is given to me by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is this. My tongue. Any of these things goes away, finish. I have nothing left. Maybe I can do some other things, but not this. So, this is the beauty of Quran. This is the beauty of the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks to us. Sometimes, I'm just sharing my experience now. This was the last topic, because after this, when we'll start, it has all subtopics, so we'll stop here. Sometimes, when I'm in deep thinking, and I'm thinking, what this and that and that and that and that, and I open Quran, anywhere, I'll read maybe 5, 6, 7 ayahs, and I would feel that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing me. ما أصاب من مصيبة إلا بإذن الله ومن يؤمن بالله يهدي قلبه والله بكل شيء عليم وأطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول فإن توليتم فإنما على رسولنا البلاغ المبين الله لا إله إلا هو وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون. I mean, these 3 ayahs, it gives me goosebumps when I read. ما أصاب من مصيبة, none of the musibah, problem can reach you without the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَمَنْ يُؤْمِن بِاللَّهِ, but the one who has the belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يَهْدِ قَلْبَهُ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide his heart. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. أَتِيُّ اللَّهَ وَأَتِيُّ الرَّسُولِ, follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and do the ita'ah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And if you don't do that, فَإِنَّمَا عَلَى رَسُولِنَا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ, that then our Prophet only have the duty of just to convey the message. Now it's upon you. And then, subhanallah, Allahu la ilaha illa. There is no God worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And who are the one who trust them? Allahu la ilaha illahu. وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Only the mu'min, only the people who believe will have the trust on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is the beauty of the Quran and everything. So I'll stop here and we'll have a break now. I need a break. And then inshallah after that we can have a little question answer if you want or anything else.